I think you understand the root of concern here. It's the way you described very emphatically your first encounter with him in his apartment, said you were disgusted, would never have any contact with him again. Did you in fact make the visit to Jeffrey Epstein's private island?
I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. I had another couple they were there as well with their children, and we had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour, and we left with all of my children, with my nannies and my wife, all together. We were on family vacation. We were not apart. To suggest there was anything untoward about that in 2012, I don't recall why we did it.
You led people to believe that you had cut off all contact with Jeffrey Epstein after the 2005 encounter you and your wife had in his apartment. But as I'm sure you know, the Epstein files show a very different record of interaction. Why do the Epstein files show you coordinating a meeting and planning a visit with Jeffrey Epstein on his private island in December 2012?
Thank you for the question. I'm glad to be here to make it clear that I met Jeffrey Epstein when I moved to a house next door to him in New York, right? And I met him then. Over the next 14 years, I met him 2 other times that I can recall, 2 times. And that is none for 6 years. So 6 years later, I met him, and then a year and a half after that, I met him, and never again. Probably the total, and you've seen all of these documents, of these millions and millions of documents, there may be 10 emails connecting me with him, probably about 10 emails connecting me with him over a 14-year period. I did not have any relationship with him. I barely had anything to do with that person, okay?
Every now and then, the hard-left media surprise you by putting to air something that is actually insightful, rational, and balanced. I guess even a broken clock is right twice a day, and MSNBC were right when they featured journalist Anand Giridharadas, who had this to say about the latest revelations in the Epstein files.
Sets of emails. This is from Catherine Rumler, who worked as Barack Obama's White House counsel, Democratic administration, White House counsel, lawyer representing the American presidency. Now, in the way that is normal in American life, she's the chief lawyer for Goldman Sachs.
Yeah. Wow.
And they're trading advice. She's getting his advice on, should I become attorney general? She's taking the advice of a convicted sex offender on should I accept Barack Obama's potential offer to be attorney general. And he's telling her, she's giving him advice about his situations in life. And in this very striking scene, she describes driving up to New York, and she says, I will stop at a rest stop at some point in New Jersey on my way up to New York, and I will see, no doubt, all these people who are 100 pounds overweight, and I will be shocked by it, and I will be moved to never eat another morsel of food in my life so that I never become like them. I just want to say to people watching this is what people in that class think about you. You don't normally get a glimpse. You see them on TV. You see them on their curated social media that someone else is doing for them. These emails are a glimpse of how people in this Epstein class feel about you. They feel you're a slob at a rest stop that they unfortunately have to stop at to get gas.
Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, that was precisely my takeaway from reading some of these emails. The utter disdain these people have for ordinary Americans, for ordinary people outside their elite circles.
Yes, as you say, Rita, even a broken clock is twice right, or right twice a day. It felt like a through the looking glass moment for me, because what he was saying is what you and I and other people talk about, certainly on the right side of politics, all the time, every day, every week. And it was just really bizarre to hear them say that. I thought Mika Brzezinski's face was a little bit funny, like there was cognitive dissonance going on in her head, and she couldn't quite work out. Should she debate him? Should she accept it? And I also think it was funny because Anand, the contributor over there, is part of that same elite class that looks down on most of the rest of us. But it was interesting that he was excluding himself from it and creating this new category called the Epstein class. You could say that that's a super, super elite within the elite. And it was interesting in that it was bipartisan, sort of. He's sort of lumping them together, bipartisan folks whose names are showing up in the Epstein files. So maybe the edifice is cracking a little bit and we're getting out of this left versus right thing, because there are offenders from both sides, certainly in those vast emails that are still being analyzed.
I would argue plenty of the MSNBC hosts are also in that class. They may not be in any way connected to Jeffrey Epstein, but they also have disdain for their fellow countrymen and look down upon them as the great unwashed that they have to coexist with. Now, more on those emails in the Epstein files, which have also lifted the lid on Ghislaine Maxwell's strong ties to the Clinton Global Initiative, one of Bill Clinton's post-presidential projects. Kosha, Ghislaine Maxwell reportedly played a major role in funding and establishing the Clintons' charity.
Yes, this gets from bad to worse. We know that Bill Clinton has been named in the files and seen and photographically in the emails along the way for all the salacious stuff with the girls and the women and allegedly, those things in that category. But now there's the other side of it, soft corruption, we call it, because all of these things, the Clinton Global Initiative and other ways in which these folks make money, it may not be illegal on the surface, but you really do know that there are quid pro quo type deals going on in there. People have long reported on that in relation to the Clinton Global Initiative. And this just adds another layer to that of all the people Ghislaine Maxwell was an instrumental player in setting that up and procuring those donations and funds for them. So I think in the court of public opinion, it's going to be pretty hard for the Clintons to come back. They're kind of out of the main stage of politics anyway, but this is certainly not helping them.